By the time I turned 16, I had lived 6 different lives, but none of them were mine.
That was the first line of the journal I found in locker 18B at Orion High School, 3 days after I enrolled as a new student. The journal was wrapped in a heat-proof polymer, marked only with a strange symbol, half DNA strand and half digital chip. And that was just the beginning. I wasn't supposed to exist. Not in the way normal people did anyway. My name, or at least the one assigned to me, was Caldre. I was born in a lab known as the Vault, one of many clones created by the shadowy think tank called Cerebrum Core. We weren't designed to live normal lives. We were experiments in progress, living, breathing data. Each of us was a hybrid of science and memory engineering. They gave us memories, artificial ones, and implanted roles for us to play in society. Student, athlete, musician, spy. I was version 7.1, but something went wrong with me. I started remembering things that weren't really in my profile, fragments of other versions. A girl with sea glass eyes, a fight in a collapsing lab, a burning hand pressing code into a terminal, and most of all, a whisper.
If you find the code, you find the truth.
That's why I ended up here. Orion High, a cover site for Cerebrum Core's failed memory harvest projects. Somewhere inside the school, my original version's memory file was hidden, the one they erased when I began glitching. And now I was going to steal it back. The journal I found was encrypted in something called NeuroScript, a language that only specific memory coded people could read. Lucky for me, version 7.1 had leftover fragments of decoding ability. I read it in silence in the robotics lab's back room while the hum of 3D printers filled the air. Locker 18B, key phrase, class memory. Inside the locker, project trace. Find subject 0. Subject 0, the prototype, the first successful clone with memory control. If she was alive, she could help me override Cerebrum Core's grip on my mind. I needed to know who I really was, not what they just programmed. Turns out, I wasn't the only one asking questions. Tariq, the tech club's quiet genius, had been watching me. How did I know that? I knew because I found a micro drone shaped like a beetle stuck to my backpack. Instead of reporting him, I confronted him. "You're looking for subject 02, aren't you?" I said. He didn't deny it, just smiled and pulled up a hologram from his wristcom. She was my sister. That's when I learned his real name, Tariq Vega. His sister Alia had been one of the first volunteers in Cerebrum Core's early memory integration experiments, but she vanished after her mind began rejecting the implants. She had become subject 0. So we agreed to work together. I had partial access to the journal and he had blueprints of the underground sectors hidden beneath the school. There was only one place left to look, the old observatory, shut down since the fire 5 years ago. The same fire I remembered, though I shouldn't. Getting into the observatory was like stepping back in time. Dust-covered star maps, a cracked dome, and hidden beneath the floorboards a biometric scanner that still hummed faintly. "Handprint," Tariq said. "Try yours." I pressed my palm to the scanner. Nothing. Then I remembered the journal's lie. Glass memory. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a shattered glass pendant. I couldn't explain. One that had been around my neck since I woke up as version 7.1. It fit perfectly into the small groove on the scanner. The floor split open. We climbed down. TRACE, trace, stood for Total Recall and Conscious Encoding. In the chamber, dozens of pods lined the walls, all empty except one. And inside, floating in cryostasis, was a girl no older than 17. Her hair dark and floating like ink, a metal disc at her temple glowing faintly. "Alia Vega, subject 0. I reached towards the terminal next to her pod. A message blinked on the screen. "Do you wish to upload your memory core, it said. I hesitated. Uploading would mean merging my mind, all versions, with the original memory that belonged to the real Caldre. It could be dangerous. Tariq looked at me. You were built from her memories, but you're more than the sum of your code. It's your choice. For the first time, I would choose who I became. Not a lab, not a line of code. I tapped. Yes. It felt like falling. Through time, through fire, through lives I didn't live but somehow I remembered. I saw myself as a child drawing stars in a notebook, as a soldier running across a field of lightning, as a thief sneaking into a memory vault. All of them were me. None of them were me. Then I saw Alia, not frozen in status, but alive, awake, fighting a room full of scientists trying to shut her down. You found me, she whispered in my mind. Now wake me up. I slammed the terminal with my palm. The cyroprod hissed open. Alia stumbled out, coughing, weak, but alive. Tariq held her as I stood still, the flood of memories slowly settling in my head. It was like stars forming constellations. I was Kyle, but I was also more. I was just a subject. I was a witness, a survivor, a creator of my own path. We destroyed the trace database, freed every encrypted subject still tracked in Cerebrum Core's files, and sent out the journal. Copies scattered across the net. By the next morning, people around the world were whispering, who are we really, if not what we remember? So now I still go to Orion High, still blend in like any other teen. But sometimes when I walk past Locker 18B, I remember the versions of myself I once was. And I smile. Because for the first time, I'm not a number, or a clone, or a project. I'm Kyle Dre. I'm real, and I choose my own truth now.